Introduction to the microprocessor. So what is microprocessor and what it does with our real life, all the things, necessities, what are the basic elements of microprocessor, how it operates, what are the instructions set for the defined microprocessor, all those things we are going to see in this unit. Shall we start? So what is a microprocessor? It is a CPU on a single chip. Now, it's a microcontroller. So microprocessor is a CPU on a single chip, consists of millions of transistors which are connected by wires. So what a microprocessor does, it is a programmable logic device. You can rewrite the program again and again according to the use what we are going to intend. So it accepts the binary data as input, process the same according to the instruction what we are giving, and give as the output. It consists of 17,468 vacuum tube, blah blah blah, this much of relays, resistors, capacitors, and see the consumption of power. It is 150 kilowatt, took up to 72 meter square, huge area, and the weight is 27 tons, which nearly one cannot be carried through it. So again, the power failure will be for every 6 hours. This is the first computer which was started, and slowly it started with the Moore's law. You know the Moore's law. So the number of transistors incorporated inside a chip will be approximately double the rate for every 2 years. So that's the Moore's law. So your microprocessor evolution is going to be support the Moore's law. So first, a 4-bit microprocessor introduced in 1971, the named as 4004, which have very similar processing power as ENIAC. That was created by Intel again. The microprocessor, the word is coined by the Intel, and the first 4-bit microprocessor, as I said, it is the 4004. It was not so powerful. What we can do is just only add and subtract. That's it, and that to 4 bit at a time. Even a calculator can do it. And now this is INTL 4004, and slowly 8080 came, the first compatible and feasible, usable microprocessor, Intel 8080. So that's 8-bit computer on a single chip. And then when you come into the microprocessor components, when you talk about the memory, it has a cache memory which can hold the rough data what is going to be executed or in the state. Main memory and large dynamic RAM memory, and motherboard, yeah, of course, circuit board, which consists of all the above components, and some peripheral accessories can be added from the outside. And talk about memory, it is a very important factor, of course, how much of storage it can hold. So as I said, it has a cache memory which forms a central processing unit. We know that cache is a faster and even a smaller memory, but it can copy so much of information. And mainly the information which is we are going to use very frequently. Coming to the bus, we know bus is a group of wires. So there are 3 buses: the data bus, address bus, and control bus. So this is a rough sketch of your buses. So CPU can handle all the 3 buses. Memory, the address bus is unidirectional, but the data bus is bidirectional. Can get into the memory, get into the data, or you can read as well as write. And so what is the architecture? It is defined by the instructions, how much a processor can execute per second, per unit time, you can say. So you know what is instruction. We are going to see a lot of instruction set of 8086. So instructions it defines what are the actions to be performed by the processor, and it must be defined by the user. So it accepts the input process according to the instruction and gives the result. And so this is a simplified microprocessor. You can read and write, you can fetch the data, decode the data, because we are going to give an instructions, but only the microprocessor can understand zeros and ones. So it decodes according to the language understand by the microprocessor, and finally giving to the integer and floating point unit. So previous your seniors studied about 8085 8-bit microprocessor. So it is a low speed of execution comparable to 8086, low memory, but 8086 is a 16-bit microprocessor. Now see the architecture of 8086. So basically it consists of ALU, arithmetic logic unit, flag, it's a register again, and what are all the general registers we can use it as a scratch pad, and 6-byte queue. You know queue, what is queue? Fetch in, fetch out. So that's a 6-byte instruction queue you can have, and 4 segment registers you have. So we are going to see one by one in detail. And the architecture of 8086, the 2 units major, EU and BIU. BIU stands for bus interface unit, and EU execution unit. So 2 units dominates your processor. So so this is the architecture diagram. So we can see it is segregated into 2. One is BIU and the second is EU. BIU consists of most of the segments, instruction pointer and 6-fetch queue, and the device, the logic to carry out the 16-bit physical, 20-bit physical address. Execution unit, all the general purpose registers, and SI, DI, index registers, base, pointer registers. Control unit, ALU and flag. So what is CS? Code segment, which shows the starting address of instruction, and DS, the data segment, which has the operand, data register, data address. ES, extra segment, you can use the extra data or operand according to the instructions. SS, as it is going to have a starting address of top of the stack. And now then IP, instruction pointer. Instruction pointer, it holds what is the offset of the address which you are going to store. Q, you have a 6-byte queue, so you can do pipelining, parallel processing of 6-byte instruction can be stored and can be processed one by 4 general purpose registers, commonly called AX, BX, CX and DX. Each one has a unique property, and 2 index registers, SI and DI, source index and destination index. So 2 index registers, and again 2 pointers, stack pointer and base pointer. Stack pointer which points to the stack segment, and base pointer to the to the program. And control unit, it controls and manages all the operations and flow of the data inside the processor. ALU, as the name implies, arithmetic, logic and control unit, do the various logic and arithmetic operations on the data and gives the result. Flag, again a register, 16-bit register. It is, you can go and verify the flag. What is this changes according to the result of each and every instruction. So general diagram again. So general purpose registers AX, BX, CX, GX can be segregated into 2 8 bits, upper byte and lower byte, 2 stack pointer and 2 index registers. Execution unit, so these are all the registers what we are using, and then execution unit, you have a control unit, instruction decoder decodes the instruction into a zeros and ones so that it can be interpreted by the microprocessor. And yeah, what else? So registers can be segregated like this again. So flags, you have CF, TF, AF, EZF, SF, TF, IF, DF and OF. We will see one by one. Carry flag, we know once the output results in a carry, it will get set. PF parity flag, it sets when even parity occurs in the result, and if it resets when odd parity occurs. Auxiliary carry flag, this is main during the B3 operation. Zero flag, when the entire result is 0, then it will be set. Sign, SF, sign flag, one is stored in sign flag if the entire result is negative. Trap flag, interrupt flag, direction flag, whether it's going to be positive in direction flag mainly used in string operations. It's going to be in this the lower byte to upper byte or upper bit to lower bit. OF overflow, when the result exceeds, then the overflow flag will be set. So all these we studied, and pointers, instruction, you can you have a prefetch, first in first out queue. So the addressable memory size of 8086 was 1 MB, but you can access only 64 KB using 16 bits. So that is why we have segment registers. As I said, 4 segment registers. So how to calculate the physical address? That plays a major role. So physical address can be calculated using absolute address, that the physical address is 16 into segment address plus offset address. Yeah, that's all about the architecture, and have a great day.